Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you wanna end a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level? Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine, and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26, so the war ain't Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated. So educated.
What's good, War Room family? You're once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Dev McMillan. I'm at the round table with my brother, B. Austin. What's going on, B?
What's goody?
Chilling?
Like a polar Eskimo.
the boy Jimmy's still globe-trotting, so he'll be back with us next week. As you all know, or if you're living under a rock, the NBA playoffs are in full swing. The talking heads are tripping and shock-jocking and pom-pomming after every single game. The NFL draft is come and gone, but we're going to rap all about that. So keep it locked right here as we discuss everything happening in the world of sports. And if you want to get in on the conversation yourself, make sure you sign in right now to the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. Or you can join us on Facebook, Twitter, at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 5 to 10 minutes after we wrap with Fred Perdue about this NFL draft. You can hit us on the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. But before we get started, we always got to do this. Make sure that during the week when we're not live on the air, and you're just sitting around chilling, or you're driving, or you're doing whatever you do, if you need some background noise, just make sure you check out archive episodes of The War Room. You can do that on our own network at warroomsports.com and the War Room Sports mobile app. Also on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, whatever, man. All the podcast listening apps
Everywhere.
places you go, just look us up. We're probably there. But yeah, what up, B, man? We lost another purveyor of the culture this week, man. The great John Singleton is gone. Had a stroke a few days later. His family was taking him off life support, man. What's the deal?
Yo, I'm getting scared, man. I ain't old, man. I don't want to die.
Right. My man was 51 years old. It's like stuff like when we were young that we think happened to old people. It doesn't happen to old people anymore. It happens to everybody. So it's crazy, man. John brought us Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Big Boy, all the classics.
John Singleton was 11. John Singleton was 11 years older than Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford scoring 51 in NBA games, and John Singleton dying at 51. Like, I'm scared, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I walk by this treadmill every day. I think I need to start stepping on that joint, doing something, man, because it is getting scary out here. All right, but yeah, man, like I said in the open, the NFL draft has come and gone. A lot of interesting storylines there. We're going to talk about some of them because we got the homie Fred Perdue waiting on the line to wrap a brief recap with us. If you guys want to hear an in-depth, full recap of the NFL draft, you can go to War Room Sports Podcast Network. That's at warroomsports.com. Click on that Podcast Network tab and listen to the latest episode of Cover 2. About a 90-minute recap on there. We're only going to spend about 10 minutes on it here because we got people for that. You know what I'm saying? We can send you places where you can get in-depth things when we don't necessarily have time in our 2-hour mothership program to get to everything and dedicate the type of time to it that everyone would like. So make sure you check that out. Cover 2 with McMillan and Perdue. That's at the War Room Sports Podcast Network at warroomsports.com. MyBookie.com. But before we bring Fred on to help us out with our little recap, got to let you guys know Hot Topics are brought to you by MyBookie. War Room, let's take a second. Let's talk about how much money you can make betting on sports at MyBookie. As I said earlier, the NBA and NHL playoffs are in full swing, so if you still haven't checked out MyBookie, the hell are you waiting for? Lay down some dough on the biggest games in sports. You can join us and thousands of other online degenerates placing bets at mybookie.ag. If you guys are tired of getting a runaround from other services when it's time for a payout, then we urge you to try MyBookie. If you win, they pay. No hassles. You're wasting your time betting anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after the game start. That sound crazy? Well, go join now, and MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 100% bonus. One catch. All you got to do is use promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM, to activate the offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, get paid, period. All right, so like I said, joining us for our draft recap, we got Fred Perdue of Cover 2 and Quick Slants in the building. War Room Sports, NFL, and college football guru, Fred. What's going, Fred? What's going?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Everything cool and crisp and irie.
We just dude's crazy. Yeah, man, we here basking in the glory of another week of sports talk. You know, when you do what you love, they say it's not work. Sometimes I think they're wrong, but anyway.
They're lying to you. Leave that. They're lying.
Couple of things. Yeah, because even sports get stressful because, you know, we got into this. We didn't know how many idiots were out there, you know, spewing nonsense on a daily basis.
Back when we started, no one told us to ignore the comment section. Stay out of the comment section of the YouTube video.
Hey, I mean, we call ourselves being a new age streamlined company where we get in the comment section and talk with you and all that kind of stuff. Because if you go to the big sites, you know what I'm saying, you get down there and the guys don't say anything to you and it's not a personal experience. God damn it, were we wrong? Anyway, draft recap. Just a couple of things that we want to touch on and have Fred in the conversation with us about. The whole Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins, New York Giants, Washington professional football team situation. As everybody knows, Dwayne Haskins was one of the, from Ohio State, was one of the highly touted quarterbacks in this year's draft, which wasn't a quarterback deep draft like last year. We all know last season, much to Fred's chagrin, the New York Giants selected a running back with the number 2 overall pick in, which was a pretty deep quarterback draft, at least a quarterback first round. This year, they skip on Haskins at 6 and reach for Duke quarterback Daniel Jones, leaving Haskins out there to fall to 15 to go to their division rival, Washington professional football team, whose fans are over the moon. It's RG3 Part 2 in these parts these days. And, so, fellas, like, what did y'all think of this whole saga? Because personally, I thought both quarterbacks were a reach at 6, but you know, you definitely can't blame.
I came to the studio today, and part of the reason I came was to ask Fred, yo, who is Daniel Jones? All I know is Daniel Jones is locker. And that's Davy Jones. That ain't even Daniel. Yo, who is Daniel? Yo, who is this dude?
The crazy part is the way that the Giants fans are treating him and the way that other people are treating Giants fans. If this dude comes out and ends up being a Hall of Famer, it's going to be a lot of crow eating for the next 10 to 12 to 14 to 15 years. It's going to be a lot of crow eating. But I don't think a lot of people foresee that in the future. Fred, what do you say?
Man, this one was a head scratcher to everyone. There was not one of those. This wasn't a situation. You know how we talk about Tom Brady and we say, well, we knew Tom Brady would be this good, and no, everyone's lying. Well, this
Right.
is the opposite of that. We knew Daniel Jones. We know Daniel Jones is not all that great. I graded him out as like a late third, early fourth.
Damn.
And when I say that, that's a developmental backup turn starter, maybe, if that's what you get. I don't understand it. I would have never taken him there. Dwayne Haskins isn't even the best. He's a sit him, hope he turns out to be somebody type of guy. Let him sit behind a vet type of starter.
Yo, I thought Fred was about to say he's not even the best quarterback at Duke. I was about to go crazy.
I was trying not to go there, but
no, but do you think that the Manning connection means that much in New York? Because, we all know he went to the Manning camp, and then he has the same, quarterback coach as the Mannings. And...
Archie, Eli, and Peyton said, I could easily send you to God, but come by the Plaza Hotel. I'm going to get you a job.
And then called the Giants.
The last name Manning holds a lot of weight, even if you are compared to the guy that throws more interceptions than just about anybody else not named Brett Favre. So, I don't get it. I mean, if I want to be compared to a Manning, it's not Eli. I guess the coaching connection is great. That's great. But, I mean, to me, Daniel, this is when it's bad. And I was on the Daniel Jones train early because I said, okay, he's coming from Duke. I want to see what this dude's about. His name's catching buzz. Let's see. And for a couple games, I'm like, okay, he's carrying Duke. Okay.
Right.
And then when you start playing, you're not playing
still.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, you're carrying Duke, but then when the talent level goes up, gets ratcheted up a little bit, they're in the same division as my Miami Hurricanes, and Miami's offense wasn't great, but their defense was a top 5 defense, and their defense made him look. They have their linebackers run with Duke's receivers, so you already know you have to be on time, you have to be in place, and you have to be good, very good. And he was throwing passes where the one pass that I remember seeing on film with him was Shaq Quarterman was running with a receiver, and he's standing right in front of the receiver, and Daniel Jones just still guns it in there. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I mean, because I have heard from a lot of pundits. I've heard from a lot of pundits, Fred, including yourself, that he definitely wasn't playing with much talent around him. So, he had to do pretty much everything. So do you think some of his bad decision making that we talked about was just like effort type decisions? Like he's not going to get open. Like, I might as well just throw the damn ball anyway.
Here's the thing.
Was it those kind of decisions?
Haskins put up with less experience but better physical talent. Dwayne Haskins put up better numbers than
Dwayne Haskins put up better numbers than everybody. He was playing with a bunch of gangbangers with speed. But
he's also playing in a tougher conference. He's playing in the Big Ten, where you're seeing Iowa,
that's true.
State,
and that's still a conference.
You're seeing a good defense week in and week out.
Even being the tough conference like that, that's a conference that Ohio State generally dominates.
Now, can I counter your argument of he wasn't playing with anything? Can I counter that?
Oh, no, it's not my argument. It's what I've heard. I don't know. I don't watch Duke football.
Want to put this out there.
I tune in to see Zion, not Daniel.
If you want to counter that argument of him not playing with much talent, there was some guy that plays for the Colts named Andrew Luck. He didn't have a lot when he played. He was throwing the tight ends exclusively when he was at Stanford. Very similar type of school versus the same type of talent level, and you're beating up on teams like USC. Just putting it out there.
Hey, but Fred.
But Andrew Luck is Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck was Andrew Luck was a gate. Like most casual fans never heard of Daniel Jones until Thursday. So that's a whole different story.
Hey, casual fans,
he was carrying Duke.
They ain't hard to be in here, but still.
Fred, when I did my draft analysis and I looked at the film on Daniel Jones, I had him graded out in the 9th round. So
we taking it back to the 90s, or we got more than the 9th round. We going into the 11th round.
Early in the
ninth. They find this guy.
I had him early in the 9th round, but he was in the 9th round nonetheless.
All right, so that was the situation there. I thought, as good as Haskins was at Ohio State, I thought he would have been a reach at 6 as well. But, the Giants had, even if Daniel Jones is your guy, the Giants had another pick at 17, and I'm pretty sure that Daniel Jones would have been there at 17. So if they would have taken some other talent to help their team out, they could have still circled the wagons and went back and got this guy. Because obviously after Haskins wasn't taken at 6, Washington had their eye on him. He fell to them at 15. So, they would have still gotten their guy most likely at 17. And I'm not even going to keep saying most likely. Nobody wanted Daniel Jones. He would have been there at 17. So I think the Giants, I don't know, unless they thought somebody was going to take them to leverage him or something. I don't know what they thought. But I don't get and the guys in the war room they blew that one.
Say, somebody would take him, and that's why they had to take him so early. I call bullcrap, but hey.
Asking who? For what? For who, for what?
Exactly. For who, for what? Yeah, exactly.
All right. So the fans in Washington are excited. Shout out to Neil in the chat room. She said Haskins didn't even look happy when Washington chose him. I think he was expecting to go 6 to the Giants. Like, he kind of gave them a little flag with his hand after they didn't, while he was looking down at his phone, kind of like, all right, whatever. But the fans are over the moon because I was actually chatting with a few of them while the draft was going on. So while I was trying to console a Giants fan friend of mine because he was distraught, I was basically telling them what I thought of him. And I know, Fred had a different opinion. To be that high in the draft, like, somewhere in the top 5 or 6, I thought Dwayne Haskins was a little overrated for those spots as well. But when a team needs something, a team needs something. So, so be it. But I thought he was a little bit overrated for that spot. I thought Ohio State did a lot of dinking and dunking to those athletic receivers out there. And, they let them get busy after the catch. I'm not saying he didn't, do some things downfield, but he didn't show me, and maybe in college you're not going to. It counts when you get in the NFL, but he didn't show me those big boy throws that Austin and I were looking for from RG3 when he was here. Would you say, Fred?
Dwayne Haskins, you might want to go back and watch that film again. Go back and watch that Penn State film. Go back and watch that Michigan film because he can drop it in the bucket. He's the guy you want. He's the classic drop back passer, 6'4", 230. He's exactly he's the counter quarterback of what everyone wants now.
Right.
15 years ago, he would have probably been the top pick, just to be honest.
No, well,
I get what you're saying. In this particular draft, he probably would have been because they had Kyler Murray, even Daniel Jones' talent to be be a little mobile. So you're saying if we were playing the same style, drop back, 5-step drop, 7-step drop, go through your progression type quarterback, then he probably would have been a higher pick even in today.
Here's what you're saying, Dev, and I agree with you. He plays in a collegiate version of a West Coast offense. And, I mean, there's a West Coast, like it ain't no downfield. My man is strictly hitting slants, shallow crosses, and speed out.
But that's 90% of college football now. I mean,
no, and that's true, Fred. And when you say,
you don't throw down as much.
But, Fred, when you say you could drop it in the bucket, in any highly touted college football player, college football quarterback, you're going to see that. You kind of look for that more consistently when we're talking NFL. But I will give you this, Fred. A lot of NFL teams are just going to glorify college systems anyway. So a lot of these guys have the opportunity to come into the NFL and be successful. So, Washington, they might have one. We'll see.
For us, and I
actually thought he should have been drafted to the Dolphins because that would have been a perfect spot for him.
Well,
I know
the
how
Dolphins
you
traded
evaluate.
up and got their guy. I mean, traded.
I know how you evaluate QBs in terms of throwing ability, Dev, and you too a little bit, Fred. I mean, I need to know that you can throw the deep comeback on the far hash at 20 yards and put it on the money. I need to know that you can hit the tight end in the face of the blitz going up the seam at 18 yards with touch. Those are big boy throws. Like that's what I need. I don't care about throwing to a guy coming across 7 yards deep on a dig that turns into a crossing route. I know that's what football is today. But if I'm going to pay you millions of dollars, you better be able to give me like deep timing.
There's a certain guy
throw.
in New England that lives off of what we don't see anymore. 6 rings. Just saying.
Yo,
he lives and dies on it. He lives and dies on it.
You know, you can't have a conversation without bringing up Tom at least 6 times.
I'm just putting it out.
That's Tom reference number 3. Don't think I'm not counting. We'll get a Tom Brady bell for Fred every time he comes on.
Oh, man.
He's going to ring the bell every time
Go
he
ahead.
brings
Go
up
ahead.
Brady or Belichick. It's going to be a BB bell. Brady or Belichick. All right, so let me ask you guys. First of all, we got to give a shout out to the family, the Adderley family. As many people out there probably know, Nasir Adderley, University of Delaware, safety, was drafted by the San Diego. Oh, sorry, I sound like Stephen A. Smith. The L.A. Chargers.
15 yards on the play, coach.
In the second round. You know, his family is they're friends of the company, friends of the show, and his he's 58 years his elder, and I always call him his uncle, but really Herb Adderley is his cousin. So his cousin Herb Adderley, Hall of Famer, cornerback from the Packers. He also played with the Dallas Cowboys. He gave us one of our greatest interviews that we've ever had here on the War Room. So we've always been rooting for the kid since he was, you know, a freshman in high school, and we talked about it with his uncle, his other uncle, not Herb. Shout out to Kai. We've been following his career ever since, so we just definitely want to give a shout out to him, his mom, Rhea, of course, his family. Shout out to the Adderleys. Very athletic family. They got something in the DNA over there. They got themselves another one. So we root for you to be great in NFL. And I saw some stuff with him before the draft, and he really lit up when he heard about the prospect of potentially being drafted by his hometown, Philadelphia Eagles. They had the opportunity to do it, and they went another way. I'm pretty sure that was a little bit disappointing to him. We're going to get him on here at some point soon so we can ask him that ourselves, but I'm just assuming that may have been a little bit disappointing. But what did you guys think, you know, of his draft position, of the team that he went to, and his prospects for being a good player in the coming years?
I'm always high on small school DBs because I feel as though they have to master more from a technical standpoint than guys that are just at the bigger schools who are raw athletes. You know, when you're dealing with a guy from Florida, he might, you know, suffer from the Patrick Peterson gene where he's just that much more athletic than everybody else. So he's in the defensive backfield because he runs a 4.2 or 4.3 40 and he's 210. I like small school guys, especially with his pedigree, because I know from a technical standpoint he's going to be more than just sound. And then on top of that, athletically, I think that he has big school athleticism, honestly. That's my take. And he can play corner.
Yeah, that's where he started. His first 2 years at Delaware, he played corner, moved back to free safety, so he's pretty much available for any spot in the defensive backfield that the Chargers, you know, think they can use him. Fred talked about it last week, how the one knock on him was the consistency level in his tackling, but he's definitely a ball hawk. So, you know, I'm thinking they got themselves a good one. I kind of wish the Eagles did take a flyer on him. But it's good to get out of the area, go do something else with your life. Fred, what's your
I don't know why. I don't know why he was at Delaware.
My take on Nasir Adderley was at post draft is the Chargers hit a home run. Gus Bradley's trying to build the California version of the Seahawks, and they're doing a good job early on offense. I mean, you got your D lineman. Now you win up front. Guess what? Now you go win on the back end. Now you have a defined role for Derwin James, your safety that you drafted last year, who was amazing this year. Now you can say, look, you're an in-the-box safety. You don't have to play free. We can roam you around. We can treat you almost like you're not Cam Chancellor. You're actually a better version of Cam Chancellor because you're not just a linebacker. You can roam around. You can guard guys that normally we can't put anybody on. You can match the mismatch. But now Nasir Adderley, guess what he can do? He's not the in-the-box safety. He's your deep safety. He's your Earl Thomas. And I'm not saying he's Earl Thomas because I know where this is going. This is not – let's kill that.
You know how people are.
He's
he
not
Earl Thomas
Earl
now?
Thomas.
We comparing him to Earl Thomas?
Man, because the way Fred is built on San Diego, you think that they're the next ones up to beat New England.
You just said San Diego. Hello.
LA.
I'm just going to put this out here
for myself.
Speaking for myself, I'm always going to call them San Diego. So, give me people, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Wait till the Raiders go to Las Vegas.
I'm just going to put it out
really
there now. I'm too
tricky. Yeah, I ain't calling them Las Vegas Raiders.
See, but the thing with the Raiders, Fred, they've moved back and forth all my life, so I'm used to them leaving. So you don't get too comfortable with the Raiders being anywhere. Like in 2026, they might be the Memphis Raiders, so it's all good with the Raiders. But the Chargers, in my lifetime, that's all I've known.
Yeah, you'll get that effect with those two safeties. You have defined roles essentially. He's the deep safety. Nothing gets past him. He's a ball hawk, so he does a lot of what Earl Thomas can do. He is not. I have to put that disclaimer out one more time. He is not Earl Thomas. He does what Earl Thomas. He does Earl Thomas like things.
We got you.
All right,
so
the draft woes for the New York Giants continue. One of their picks, Corey Ballentine, and his college roommates, after he was drafted by the New York Giants, they were shot coming out of a party. Allegedly, 23-year-old Ballentine, who was a star at Washburn University, he and his best friend and teammate, Dwayne Simmons, they were coming out of a party. I believe they said it was the women's soccer team who was having a party. They were leaving, and allegedly some guys came up to them and asked them if they had some weed to sell. They said no. The guys left, and a few minutes later, they came back and opened fire, killing his teammate, Dwayne Simmons, and wounding him. I think they actually shot him in the buttocks. The New York Giants told him to go ahead and stay home for the first workouts of the off season. Like, what's up with their luck right now? I mean, this type of thing you can't help. It seems like the other stuff, the Giants are making their own luck. But what were your thoughts when you heard this one, Fred?
Man, this one was crazy. When I saw this, I was like, wow. You just can't get away from, you try to get away from everything, and you try to have a little success and celebrate it. You can't even celebrate the success of living the dream of making it to the NFL without something crazy happening to you.
Right.
And you can't say wrong place, wrong time because he wasn't doing anything wrong. I mean, it's a crazy situation.
Where did he go in the draft?
I think he went third.
I'm trying to look.
I think he went fourth or fifth round.
Okay. All right. It's crazy. B, what's up? Like, you can't even celebrate, living your dreams these days. You come out of a party and you get shot for apparently no reason, unless there's more to the story that he's not telling. But what's up with that, man? All right. I don't know where the hell B is. All right, so let's move it on to just give me your opinion, Fred. Just if you had to pick a team, I know it's difficult to just nail it down to one. So let's go maybe two teams who you think had the best draft.
Best draft. Super Bowl champs, New England Patriots. They killed it.
I need a bell for that one too. We just need a Patriots.
Yeah, bell. they only because they filled all their needs. I mean, when you fill every need you have from a bunch of departing and retired players in such a way that it was just like fall. Everybody fell perfectly in place. Only thing they didn't really get was a tight end. I think you can figure that out. They'll figure that part out later.
Well, if you're the Super Bowl champs, the defending champs, how many needs do you actually have? So was it difficult to fill them?
Ooh, they ain't hard to be in here, but still.
There's one glaring one out there still, that Hall of Famer that just retired. That need hasn't been filled yet, so not so fast.
Tom Brady will force the ball. He'll force the ball to somebody and make him a star. So he'll be all right.
Possibly. There's this ASJ guy. Who knows? But as far as other teams that filled needs, I would say the Raiders. I mean, I hate saying it because it would have to be. It's a tie between the Raiders and the Browns, and I know that just sounds awkward and odd and crazy. It doesn't even sound like I should be associated with those things with two.
Sounds bizarro world.
Cleveland Farrell, number 4, was a little bit of a head scratcher, but once you really dive into it, you understand why they took him. They needed a pass rusher to go along with Arden Key, and then the rest of the way you get guys like Josh Jacobs, and Travion Williams, so you have guys that fit roles to fill holes that they had before. So those picks were fine. And the Browns, they went and got Greedy Williams, the guy I wanted all along in the first round, to go to those Patriots. Didn't get him. He was my biggest prospect crush, if you want to call it anything. But now they have probably the best tandem of corners with Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams, and they filled a lot of holes that they needed to fill. Now, granted, it's potential, and we have to worry with. When you say you're going to win the Super Bowl and all this other stuff, and you haven't even gotten to an OTA yet, about that.
Hold up, because that's our quote of the week, and we're going to keep you around for that because I did want to ask you about that. This is the last thing we'll ask you. Greedy Williams, after being drafted by the Cleveland Browns, said, and I quote, "I know one thing. The Browns are going to win the Super Bowl this year. That's a fact," unquote. That's Greedy Williams. Now, to me, it's seeming that he's fitting right in with what they got now, because as soon as the Cleveland Browns got a little bit of talent last year, some of their offensive players started running off at the mouth about how they could put up 40 on everybody. The Cleveland Browns, suffice it to say, are loaded right now. And the Cleveland Browns are usually the little underdog that I'm rooting for. But now that they're getting some talent, they're starting to bother me a little bit. And they're borderline about to have me rooting against them and hoping that they brown it up some way, somehow. But, to be a new draft pick, to be going to a team who, for the better part of the last 3 decades, have been the laughing stock of the NFL, like, how brash is it to go in there and say that? And I love a confident player. I love a cocky player and all that kind of stuff. But what you said, you're speaking for everybody else. And you ain't even met your teammates yet, but you're speaking for them. So I think he needs to slow it down a little bit on
Can
that
I just
front.
put it out there?
But I love the confidence. Confidence is cool.
That team could easily be 2-7 or 2-5 when it comes by week 8. Just saying, the Titans and the Jets are the only winnable games I see on their schedule. You get the Rams, Ravens, 49ers, Seahawks, and Patriots all back to back with only a bye week in the middle of all of that. So
you're basically saying they're going to get an early opportunity to show and prove with all this yapping that they do.
I want that same energy when you come to Foxborough in October. I want that same energy.
All right, well, there you have it, man. That's our draft, our quick draft recap. Like I said, if you want the in-depth 90-minute version, just go to warroomsports.com, click on the War Room Sports Podcast Network tab, and click on the latest episode. I believe it's episode 53 of Cover 2 with McMillan and Purdue, so you can get a more in-depth look at the draft recap. But Fred, as usual, man, we appreciate it, and we'll rap to you next week. Good, brother?
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, no doubt. Fred Purdue, everybody, of the Cover 2 podcast and the Quick Slants podcast. Oh, 1 second. Did Fred go? Fred, if you're listening, he was supposed to give his top 10 prospects, his way too early top 10 prospects for next year's draft. We forgot to do that, so we'll wait a week. We'll get it in next week. All right, before we go on, because we got a stat of the week that kind of changes gears and goes into basketball, we got a caller on the line. And just in case he wanted to say something about football, we'll keep everything right here. We got the homie Tobias calling in from out in Arizona, where they pay college basketball players $10K a month. What's up, Tobias?
What's going on? Roll down Tide, and I'm a fan of the dumbest NFL team on earth, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Give me a second on this one. All right. This team, right?
But still.
Number 5 overall pick, right? You got a trash defense, a trash pass rush. Yes, I know Quan Alexander left for free agency. Why in the blue hell would you draft an inside linebacker number 5 if you got defensive linemen out there? Because you all know it is hard to get a top-notch defensive lineman in his prime unless you draft that high or you're paying him $20 million a year. And teams ain't letting them go. So, okay, this guy can get 120 tackles a year. Well, whoop the damn do, shout to Derek Coleman. But it's
the funny thing about being an inside backer or a Mike backer, they're right after running back. They're the least valuable position. So it's kind of funny, man.
Yeah, here's the thing also. They talking about where he could blitz them. You got Josh Allen, who could have been the number 2 pick or number 3 pick, sitting there right in the face. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a big-time defensive line already. They went all in. Then you got no running back because ain't no one in your fantasy league is drafting Peyton Barber. Now, let me tell you guys, I got a stat of the week for you guys. You know, it only takes 62.5 yards per game in a 16-game season to get to 1,000 yards. And this blanket-to-blank couldn't get that. But yet, we're all good at running back. Then we got an offensive line with the right side to do the turnstile. You got a guy 35 years old who want to retire, but you don't draft one. But these clowns going to draft 2 more cornerbacks and a safety after you draft the middle linebacker, after you drafted 2 cornerbacks last season. And they draft a fat kicker. So when this team goes, it gets better. How the hell are you in salary cap hell and you went 5-11 2 years in a row?
Yo, I love drafting kickers for one. I don't know what's up with that. Like, I just think every year on the free agent list, like there's enough solid kickers to go around. I don't know. And if like what round they draft a kicker in this year?
5th. But still, you could have landed like a lineman. Somebody just had like a depth. You know, sometimes you got to have some depth on the line. But here's the thing. A lot of Bucs fans just happy that Devin White won't be a bust. Who cares about that? Defensive linemen change the game. For example, when Fletcher Cox goes out for y'all, the defense changes. It's not as good because that guy's that dominant. But, yeah, if the middle linebacker goes out, hey, you can still hold down the fort. Even Ray Lewis needed like Haloti Ngata, Sam Adams, and still had T. Silver coming out the edge. If you want the middle linebacker, trade down.
I feel you. I know you. I know you've been waiting all week to get your vent. because your team keeps upsetting
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, here's the thing. And, like, what happens is they're like, yeah, we're good. I'm like, the guy the running back couldn't make Ray Charles live. He can't make – I'm sorry, he can't because everyone will blame the offensive line. But, you know, a running back, you have to make things happen sometimes. And but can I drop this real quick? I think I do a basketball. I'll drop this real quick. LeBron stands. Just because they say Kevin Durant is the best player right now, they're not saying all time. Shannon Sharp, get out your feelings. He's talking about LeBron James is 35 years old right now. And y'all talk about who Kevin Durant played with. Where was all this energy when LeBron played with D. Wade and Chris Bosh when they was in their prime, and Ray Allen and Shane Battier? Oh, yes. And also, where was this energy when he had Kyrie and Kevin Love? So keep that same energy when y'all hating on KD.
It is weird. All right, man. Thanks for your vent. We knew it was coming. We'll holler at you next week, all right, Tobias?
Hey, Dev, aren't you happy I didn't cuss, though?
I know you're not to control yourself. It's all good.
Hey, take it easy, guys.
All right, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
He been chomping at the bit, man. The Buccaneers been frustrating to him. All right, so we're going to switch gears with this stat of the week real quick. Stat of the week, Jason Tatum, a.k.a. Beige Mamba, a.k.a. the next one up, in Boston's semifinal series with the Bucks. It's only 2 games into the series. So we're not saying that, you know, we can't find him and get him off of this milk carton, but he has a total of 9 points in the first 2 games of this series. He had 4 points in game 1 and 5 points in game 2. So he's averaging a paltry 4.5 points per game. According to everybody this season, you know, even with Kyrie coming back, he's supposed to be, you know, option 1B at the lowest, option 2 on this team. We've heard from everybody how he's like the next one up. I think scoring is, you know, the best thing that he does. Like he has a nice little offensive package where he can get to where he needs to get off of the dribble. You know, not a lot of wasted motion on most plays. Sometimes he gets to over dribbling and getting too fancy on things. But he's shooting about 24% in this series, and he's nowhere to be found. The reason why this is a thing, B, is because if you notice the difference, because there were a lot of people very high on Tatum. Shout out to the homie Court. He might be listening. You know, he and Jimmy had something going because Court posted last season that Tatum was going to come into this season as the starting small forward on the All-Star team. And we kind of reminded him, you know, what about Mute? What about Giannis? Like, are you forgetting these guys? But a lot of people were high on him like that. And I'm not saying 2 games in a series are going to take people from being that. But I kind of think to where the hype was coming into the season, even his regular season was a little bit underwhelming for the hype. My only thing is, being a second-year player himself, Ben Simmons, when he has games like this, especially when he has games like this in the playoffs, it's the worst thing that's ever happened in life, and he's a bust, and I told you the Sixers will never go anywhere with him. I'm just wondering why certain people have more leeway and more room to be a young player and go through the ups and downs and the struggles, and some don't. Like, I don't get it.
I told you what it was years ago, man. It's all about how the fan base relates to that player and how he compares favorably or unfavorably to a player they love or like. So with Ben, I think that he compares, certainly not athletically, but skill-wise a little bit to LeBron. So the LeBronites, when he falls short of their God, they let Ben have it. They let Ben have it. And then he's got a little bit of a quirky personality too. So I can see kind of where Tatum stays out of the way. You don't expect that much from him, but when you get it, cool, great. But if he keeps laying eggs like this, they'll get to him. They'll get to him.
We'll see. I mean, because remember, it was like in the NBA for a long time. You remember how many years people used to be like, yo, why does Kevin Durant get such a pass and everybody's so hard on LeBron? Kevin Durant really did get a pass up until the moment he joined the Golden State Warriors. Like, it's like, all right, we're kind of apologizing for you every single year. You lost to them after having a 3-point lead, and we're still going to blame it all on Russ, even though it was KD coming up short at the end of those games, and we were still apologizing for KD. And I'm saying we as the masses because I damn sure wasn't. But then as soon as he joined the Golden State Warriors, then that's when the criticism finally kicked in for KD. And it's weird to see that because people, the masses take people in as their favorites or their, like you said, it depends on their comparison with somebody else. Because sometimes you get the apologists because you're anti somebody else. So I think KD was like the anti-LeBron. So people who didn't like LeBron was willing to, sacrifice their integrity to keep apologizing for this dude who wasn't getting it done. And I don't know. It just reminded me of that. All right. So that's our stat of the week. And we'll talk a little bit more about, Tatum, his struggles and the Celtics and the Bucks series and all of that stuff in a little while when we talk some NBA basketball. But for right now, you guys can check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, make sure you take your time and look around, click the Contact Us tab, send us a message about the company show or inquire about sponsorship and advertising if you're a small business owner or if you want to join the network as a writer, podcaster, whatever you want to do. And remember, if you are interested in work, the network isn't all sports. So if you want to get on the air and do a show about whatever your interest is, we are interested in that. So make sure you get with us. You can also get with us at info@warroomsports.com. That's how you can reach us by email. So why not just browse? Click on the memorabilia tab, buy some War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab, read our latest articles in the All's Fair in Sports and War blog. Shout out to Gus Griffin, who's been holding it down for us over the past year or so. Then you can click the respective icons and tabs to follow all our social media platforms, to subscribe to the iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app on Android or iOS. Our Android app is down this week, but if you don't have it yet and you're an Android user, just keep checking back because it'll be up once we finish troubleshooting with the app company. But right now, if you want to rap to us, just join the JW Philly Realty chat room. That's blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, I think you can still sign into your Facebook and Twitter logins. So while you're at it, click follow so you can get updates and reminders about the show every week. We'll also be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, chat room, the War Room Sports Game Time group on the GroupMe app, all of that during the show. But if you want to call in and speak with us, dial the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. But if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And right now, we're going to talk about what happened this week while you good folks were out there on the grind trying to make it happen for your families. There's been a lot of wacky stuff in sports going on. We've been doing that. So while you're on the grind is brought to you by Blueprints Books. The book, SPORTS. It's acronym, folks. Smart people only read the sports. You guys tired of reading the same old sports books with the same old lists, rankings, managed lineups, GOAT comparisons, and all that subjective information that people pass off as facts these days? Be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Its mixture of sports and hip-hop culture will keep you on the edge of your seat and to keep you laughing like you're watching a Netflix special. Netflix cut the check. So just go to sportsthebook.com to get your copy, or you can get a copy from our website at warroomsports.com. All right. While y'all were on the ground, B. Austin, after all the talk of your man growing up and his game growing up and maturing and all that good stuff that people do after a few years, your homie, D'Angelo Russell, is back. Now, D'Angelo Russell was caught in an airport trying to smuggle weed in a fake Arizona iced tea can. He was flying from LaGuardia to Louisville, but he was stopped by TSA, which noticed the can, and he found marijuana in it on an inspection. The police were informed, and they issued a citation to D'Angelo. The USA is reporting that he received a summons to appear in court. Come on, D'Angelo. First of all, two things. Two things. Arizona iced tea, we all know, come in a can. And they said it was the can. Even if this wasn't a liquid, or, even if you weren't faking as if it was a liquid, they have metal detectors for a reason. You can't get things through TSA that are, metal, any kind of metal, aluminum, whatever. So I'm calling him out because his hiding place was suspect. Like, you weren't even going to get that pass if it didn't have marijuana in it. Number two, you can't take liquid through TSA. Any liquid you have that's not in little 1-ounce containers or whatever it is and in a plastic bag are getting tossed. If you have a bottle of water that's clear as day and they can just look at it, it doesn't matter. They're going to make you drink it, they're going to make you guzzle it, or they're going to make you throw it in the trash can. So how are you trying to get past with metal or aluminum? And number two, how are you trying to get what you want to appear as a liquid past TSA? I mean, I know y'all fly charter all the time and y'all probably do what y'all want, but dude, I know you've been in an airport before. I know you've been on an airplane before. What's wrong with you, man?
Yo, you don't know about the Altoids cans. But, yeah, I don't know. Very immature on his part. I don't know. Give him a JoJo. He deserves it. He
got to. He got to. I mean, I thought back then with the whole situation with Nick Young, probably gave Ball a lifetime JoJo, but he's earned his way back up the ladder. He's probably the NBA. He's in the top 2 if he doesn't win it of most improved players. I'm pretty sure it's between him and Pascal Siakam. And for the most part, people are saying he's a model teammate, model citizen, and he's out here doing dumb stuff. So you deserve one of these young fellas. Idiot. All right. So the next story, Sean Miller, head coach of Arizona men's basketball team, allegedly paid DeAndre Ayton about $10,000 a month while he was enrolled in school. Now, this was a part of the court proceedings for Emmanuel Book Richardson. We know about his whole thing and, him being on trial for the improprieties that he's been alleged to have. I'm trying to watch my words. I don't want to say nothing that's too crazy, but the things that he's alleged to have done in college basketball and basically getting kids to sign with sports agencies by means that aren't legal. Either way, federal prosecutors said, federal prosecutors played a recording to a jury of a phone call in which Emmanuel Book Richardson told an aspiring agent by the name of Christian Dawkins that Arizona coach Sean Miller was paying DeAndre Ayton $10,000 per month while he was enrolled at the school. They played this call because they were on the call discussing how the agent could recruit Ayton as a client, prior to him declaring for the NBA draft. So if they find a way to prove this being, this is a little, if they find out that this is more than just hearsay, which it could possibly be, what kind of punishment are you looking at for Sean Miller?
Lifetime ban.
Death penalty for Sean Miller?
Death penalty. Nah, that's a little much. 2 years.
I mean, because I don't know, but they have some of the transcript of the call. They have some of the stuff here. They said while talking about Ayton, Richardson told Dawkins, "Sean's got to get the F out of the way and let us work." Then he said, "We'll see how Sean is out." Dawkins said, "You know what he bought per month?" Richardson asked, "What'd he do?" Dawkins asked. "I told you, 10. So he's basically trying to, talk in codes. He said he's putting up some real money for them mother effers. Dawkins, he told me he's getting killed. So I don't know. There's been a big probe into college basketball. So now Ayton's name is involved. Sean Miller's name is involved. Zion's name came up a few weeks ago when they said his mom was, being paid. It's all going to come to a head one day. I mean, this is the big argument that people have been having for decades, but it's ramped up over the past 10 years of whether or not college athletes should be paid. For all the people who believe that they should, all I ever asked was, come up with something that makes sense, because a lot of people say pay them and then they have no rhyme or reason to how that's
plan, no rhyme.
Yeah, because what people when they say is the big sports, the basketballs, the footballs, they're the cash cows for these universities and they're funding sports. But if you start paying college athletes, do the sport athletes pay as well, or are you just gonna be front and honest with them? Like, look, the big 7-foot dude over there is the reason that your lacrosse uniform, was pressed up and made. So we're going to pay him, but we're not going to give you jack. And even within the same sports, you have superstars who drive the revenue and 12th man on the bench that nobody's ever heard of because he's never stepped foot on the floor before. So we just, where's the balance? How do you do this? That's what I'm interested in. What else happened while you guys were on the ground? Jay Wright, Villanova's head coach, he allegedly turned down UCLA for double the salary. What do you think about that move? Is that a smart move on his part?
Yeah. Double the money. That's tough, man. So I understand the logic, or from a speculative perspective, I understand the logic. UCLA comes with a certain amount of expectation,
right?
And there's an outside perspective on what it is.
After winning 2 national championships,
right? But UCLA isn't what it used to be. It feels like it would be harder for him to succeed at UCLA's head than it is for you to work as Villanova's head. Less expectations, easier to win, and history and tenure and goodwill already built. So that's how it feels to me. Like I get it. In his mind, he may feel like, hey, am I going to stay at UCLA to collect this bread for 2 or 3 seasons, or are they going to fire me after I prove I'm not successful? And then what? I can stay at Villanova for the next 10 years and make that bread.
Exactly my thoughts. You've won 2 national championships within a 3-year span at tiny Villanova. And I'm saying tiny in comparison to a UCLA. UCLA is a blue blood college basketball program. Just like B just said, the expectations there, especially because they're trying to hire you after a national championship run 2 times over, the expectations are going to be to put us back where we belong in the pantheon of college basketball. Now, you're going to double this man's salary, but the expectations are going to come with limitations, being as though if you can't turn their program around and get it to where they want it to be again in the next 4, 5, save them 10 years, which is not unlikely, but say 4, 5, 10 years, they're eventually going to get rid of you. I think at a small school like Villanova, the fact that you brought them so much success even prior to the 2 national championships, and then you iced the cake with that, I think you could pretty much call your shot at Villanova for the rest of your career. I don't see him getting fired. I see him being at Villanova for the next 25 or however long he wants to coach.
And he probably won't be able to double his salary at Villanova, but they'll give him a 50% raise.
He's going to be the Coach K of Villanova, and he's going to get it. He has a nice salary. He'll probably get a nice extension at some point, and he knows that that's reliable income. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you would have to be on this Sean Miller list and do something totally out of character for the program to be fired from there. But if you go on a little, slump for a couple of years and you're not where you had the program, I think they would have the patience with him considering what he's already done for that. Villanova people, it's difficult. Villanova, for their history, they part of that Big Ten scene. They've had their ups and downs. They won the national title once back in the 80s. But, they were such a big underdog then, it was never expected. Like, because if you look at these Big Ten schools, and I'm talking historical because I know they shook up the conference and all of that, and changed a bunch of things. But if you look at the history of the Big Ten, they've always had a name, but they were never considered favorites, no more than a few years out of every decade. Maybe not, and maybe that's even being generous. So yeah, I think in Villanova he can pretty much call his shot of when he wants to get to be finished. I think if he takes this huge salary, goes out to the West Coast, I think the clock is going to be ticking.
That's a 2-year gig, Sam.
And be successful, but whatever. What'd you say?
I said that's a 2-year gig, family. 3rd year, he up out of there.
All right, so yeah, Jay Wright, I think he made the right decision. He's built something here that is just valuable. All right, so Tiger Woods, we all celebrated. When I say we, definitely the African American race celebrated Tiger getting back on top and winning the Masters a few weeks ago. Tiger's doing what we expect Tiger to do. He's going to hang out with his homie. So Tiger's going to celebrate his Masters victory while receiving the nation's highest honor for a civilian when he visits his homie Donald Trump at the White House on Monday. He's going to yuck it up, and he's going to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Because
black people are stupid, man.
I think this is Donald Trump's way of saying I like black people. No,
I like niggers too.
In the Oval Office, like I ain't. So yeah, Tiger, he's gonna celebrate. You know what because people should have expected Tiger. They know Tiger's cool with that dude. But you know what would be even worse? If Tiger goes there and they share a fast food lunch, because it would kind of be like mocking the criticism that he's gotten, because he did it again this week. He served cold fast food to the Baylor women's basketball team after they won the national championship. He did it the first time on what I know to be a lie, claiming it was because of the shutdown and there were no chefs, no cooks. I have some insiders who know to not be 100% true. Now, the 2 times he's done it after that, he's just trying to throw it at everybody's face. Like, this is my thing. I'm not embarrassed by it. This is what I chose to do. I think if Tiger went there and they publicly shared a fast food lunch, I think he would just be further throwing it in the face of anybody who decided to criticize him about that. And I just have a feeling that, Tiger will be all for helping his man out. So, yeah, there's a lot of happy people out there. But
basically, what Tiger is one of these so-called, quote, air quotes, brothers that asked, Donald, is we sick? Donald, how is we doing? And we as black folks are so caught up in respectability politics. We claiming Tiger because he won a golf tournament. He ain't interested in y'all, man. He's trying to get back on top so that he can find an Elin and get back on top. Come on, y'all.
Be like,
bars.
Yeah, no doubt. Biz Nars. All right, so, that's what happened this week. Everybody, while y'all were on the grind. All right, so real quick before we move on to some NBA playoff stuff, we're going to give some quick birthday shout-outs. And the birthday segment still didn't have a sponsor. So if you have a business, whether it be a small business, a big business, whatever you do, hey, if you want to sponsor a segment on the show, we got some openings here, so hit us up, warroomsports.com. Go on that Contact Us tab, or you can email us, info@warroomsports.com. All right, we make sure your money is very well spent. All right, man, so birthdays, Kyle Busch, a race car fan. He turns 34 years old. Thabo Cephalosha, the inspiration behind Kyle Korver's very, very poignant piece that he wrote for the Players Tribune. He turns 35 today. Damn, Thabo getting old.
Yo,
Troy Murphy.
How's Thabo 35?
No, man. He must have came in. I got to check and see how old he was when he came into the league. Sometimes those foreigners don't take that easy route. Tony Parker came in when he was like 19. Top might have been like 25. I don't know. He is 39 years old. Shout out to Troy Murphy. To have a little bit of game. David Beckham. Still over there bending the gym.
Bending it.
Never mind. He turned over there bending Spice Girls. Bend it like Beckham. He turns 44 years old. Shout out to Dave Beckham.
Bender
and NBA star Jamal Wilkes is 66 years old. So we like to give all of these folks a War Room Sports salute on their birthdays. Salute. Happy birthday. And one more time before we talk some NBA, you can check out our website, warroomsports.com. But if you want to call us and speak about any of the NBA playoff topics that we're about to speak about, or anything that you come up with on your own, you can hit us on the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're calling from your phone, all you got to do is press 1, so we know that you're on the switchboard and you want to talk. So go ahead and do that. Just press 1 if you want to talk. And the NBA Wrap, as usual, is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Just stop, doing the free stuff, because that's not really working out too much. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. And even if you don't have a bunch of money to spend up front, and I'm saying a bunch, I'm using that loosely because I just told you it's not going to cost you a bunch of money. But even if you just don't have that discounted money to spend all at once, financing options are available. So visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. Again, 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them that the guys from over at War Room Sports sent you. Yes, they are. All right, B. Before we get into the NBA plus, just a few NBA news tidbits. Greg Popovich, he has formally committed to return for his 24th season as San Antonio Spurs coach, but he's expecting an extension that will keep him as the highest paid coach in the NBA for another 3 seasons. Does this surprise you? Because Popovich, he seemed like he was kind of losing his luster for the game. I don't know if you remember earlier in the season, he made those comments talking about how the three-pointers basically ruined the game. It's not the beautiful game of movement anymore and skills. People are just coming down launching three-pointers after three-pointers because analytics and yada, yada, yada. And on top of that, like, he's lost everybody from his glory years, from the domination of the past 2 decades in that 5-championship run, including Tim Duncan, David Robinson, if you want to put him in, but he was early in the run. But he's lost Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, that big 3 that kind of guided him through the rigors of the past 2 decades and helped remain on. I call the Spurs like the Patriots of the NBA. So are you surprised that he signed a 3-year contract in the midst of everything that's happening? Or you think
two things happen. When you're the highest paid player or highest paid coach in the league, it's hard to walk away from that chick. And DeMar DeRozan brought back his inspiration because DeMar ain't interested in a three-pointer at all.
So you're saying he got the right cats on his team. He do have some mid-range mavens on his squad. He got DeMar.
Mid-range mavens.
He got Aldridge. Aldridge should be a little closer to the basket, but he likes to shoot mid-range shots as well. So, yeah, he do got a squad that fits his personality and his style of basketball. But like any other team, you got the youngsters on the team that still they shoot the 3. I don't know where they fall within the league, but it's just a part of the game now. You kind of can't play without it. It's just a lot of teams out there who abuse it. And we'll talk about a team that abuses it like a bad drug. We'll talk about that team in a few minutes. There's been some stuff in the news saying that Jeannie Buss has apparently given her close friends, Linda and Kurt Rambis, former Laker Kurt Rambis, high roles in the front office, but nobody can explain what roles they are, what they actually do. I've even heard people refer to Linda Rambis as quote-unquote shadow owner. So people are wondering, like, are you giving them positions in the organization because they're your friends or because they actually know what they're doing? I mean, we know Kurt Rambis has been a part of the NBA for a very long time, a player, a coach on a few teams, and I think he's been in the front office. I don't know, but we know how the Lakers like to take care of their own. But without them giving any information as to exactly what these people are doing in the front office, B. Austin, like, what does this look like to you? Like, what's going on? Magic just rolled out. Looked like Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka were in cahoots. Now you got Kurt and his wife getting positions. Like, what's going on in Lakerland? Why is this such a dysfunctional organization? And is your man, the leader and founder of the Forum Club, forget the Lakers, the Forum Club, Dr. Jerry Buss, is he rolling over in his grave watching his kids tear up his beloved Lakers?
Jerry, Dr. Buss is trying to figure out right now, whatever level of hell he's in, for what Hugh Hefner got done with. He working out that deal to come back.
I guess because he founded the Forum Club, he got to be in hell.
He founded the Forum Club. He's the reason EJ is here. Like, he is trying to figure out a way to come back to right this wrong because, as a Sixers fan, growing up, there's 2 teams we hated. We hated the Celtics and we hated the Lakers. Yo, but I don't want the Lakers looking like this, yo. This is not good for basketball, man. Yo, they are a laughing stock, and I'm starting to even feel a tad bit of sympathy for LeBron, man. LeBron didn't come here for this. He came here to make movies.
I'm about to say, he didn't come here for basketball either.
Run entertainment. But he didn't come here to do business with Kurt Rambis' wife, yo. He didn't come here for that. Kurt Rambis,
yo, what does she do? Like, what is she by profession? Like, is she a lawyer? Like, what is she? Or is she just Kurt Rambis?
There's people saying that she doesn't know anything about basketball, and she'll make a decision. They'll ask her, and she'll call Kurt and ask them what they're talking about before she, what are they doing? What are they doing?
I don't even know what the term shadow owner means. Is that like owner internship? Like they're going to let you into the ownership group, but you got to shadow me for a while and learn the ropes of how to F up an NBA team? Like, I don't get it.
Ownership intern.
What is a shadow? They're just making stuff up. Right. But that's what agents and general managers are describing her as. And if those are the people describing her as that means they have her talking to these people. Like, why is Linda Buss, not Linda Buss, excuse me, she's not even a Buss kid. Why is Linda Rambis talking to agents and general managers on behalf of the Los Angeles Lakers?
How does she know what she's talking about? Is she having these conversations?
All she could probably say is like, she probably called the Rockets and like, if Harden's eyes hurt, then you should probably get him goggles. My husband wore goggles when he played. Like, what are we doing here, man? I'm so confused.
Yo, man. Get LeBron out of here, man. Get him. He don't deserve it. He don't deserve it.
It's LeBron's fault. All those crazies out in Philadelphia just believed for some reason that he was going to come join their shop. That's what he get for not joining their shop. I mean, I'm glad he didn't, because, like I said, we can't put this circus on LeBron. Like, there's a lot of circuses that we could put on LeBron, and he probably would have brought one to the city of brotherly shove. But the stuff that's going on in Lakerland now, like, you can't even put this on LeBron, man. Lakers.
No, this ain't got nothing to do with LeBron. LeBron don't deserve this, man. Not even for the decision, LeBron. Overnight. They're the bizarro world. The Browns are good, or talented at least.
The Clippers are a more stable organization than the Lakers.
The Lakers are trash, and the Clippers are in the playoffs. Challenge. What type of? Man.
The world and the world is living.
And Biff Tannen is president. What's going on?
Skyview said Linda Rambis is a I really need to know what her profession is besides shadow owner.
Shadow owner.
All right, let me look this up. Linda Rambis profession. If a Pinterest
shadow
page
owner.
come up, first thing it says is he's married to Kurt Rambis.
Weren't we happy for them when they got the brother boss up out of there? We thought Jeannie was going to do some good things.
We thought he was the problem. Jeannie out here just making the Lakers organization girls' night. This is girls' night. Her and Linda sit up in a suite, drinking wine, losing. I don't know what's going on with Jeannie. I don't know. She need to bring Phil back to coach. Just give him a big-ass chair. How he like his big chair, and he'll be all right. All right, so that's what's going on in Lakerland, man. Shout out to them and their shadow owner. And how'd she get a higher position than Kurt Rambis? At least he put in the work. So the NBA playoffs, man. Most of the week that has gone by, the discussion around the NBA has been about NBA officiating, more specifically in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinal between the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. Now, the Houston Rockets said that there were a lot of calls, and most of this was on 3-point shots where they feel that the defender was going under the shooter and not giving them enough landing space, which is a newer rule in the NBA because of how people used to shoot, come down on somebody's foot, sprain an ankle, it's seriously hurt or whatever. We know it put Kawhi Leonard out of the playoffs a few years ago when they were kind of handling the Golden State Warriors in Game 1. What are your thoughts about Houston doing all the complaining and just making the whole narrative for the 48 hours or so in between those games all about officiating? Do you think they had a case? The final 2-minute report came out, and they did say early in the game they did blow 3 calls, but the one that they were complaining about the most, when Draymond Green allegedly ran under James Harden, the ref said that was a no call, and we feel that we got that right. Have you seen the video of that one? Because there's been like video replay all week.
Yeah, I think both teams is better, but particularly Houston. The level of complaining is outlandish, and I also noticed that your man Neymar of the NBA, aka James Harden, he got more calls than he averages in the regular season.
Right, he was at the line 14 times, and he doesn't, as much as he goes to the line, he doesn't average 14 free throws per game. So he got more free throws. My thing with the Rockets, a lot of standing still, a lot of ISO. Like, the stuff that they're doing doesn't work. You know what it is, though? And referees, I'm pretty sure they could even admit this, because I heard somebody say that a ref told them, like, you go into a game saying, well, I'm not going to get fooled tonight. I think if it wasn't the level that NBA players, namely the Houston Rockets, namely James Harden, if it wasn't for the level of deception that they're going into each and every game trying to get over on the referees, because James Harden gets called, he gets people called for a lot of fouls that aren't really fouls, because he's learned the officials. He's learned how to contort his body in certain ways. He learns how to get, how to get bogus contact. I think he studies film on how to draw fouls, but not the old-fashioned way of just going to the hole. You know what I'm saying? And using your space wisely. I think he's basically mastered deceiving the referees, and they've come to a point where they're going in the game trying not to be deceived. So a lot of times on these plays, they're thinking, well, he did something to initiate that contact. A lot of times he does, and on some of them, especially ones when Klay Thompson was guarding them, they were fouls. But the fact that James Harden does his part in every foul that there is on his body, sometimes the refs are just sitting there like, it's difficult to officiate this dude. If you look at the one with Draymond, he kicks his legs into, Draymond doesn't just jump straight up, so he's moving forward too. So his defense is suspect on the play as well, but Harden kind of kicks both of his legs forward, comes to their sitting position in the air, and falls on the ground. I think if Draymond would have backed and just let him play himself, kind of like pulling the chair out from under him, he would have done the same thing with no contact at all. So I think that's why he didn't get that call. No, real talk, I think that's why he didn't get that call, because they say the defender is supposed to give the shooter enough airspace to come down and not come down on his feet or whatever. But another part of that rule is the shooter has to have, a natural shooting motion. And there's nothing natural about what James Harden is doing at the three-point line trying to draw these fouls. So some of the time, I think he's playing himself with some foul calls because the ref's looking at the fact that there's nothing natural about his shooting motion, so I'm not going to give you this little ticky-tack foul. Whereas if he just went straight up and these dudes are just coming under you, and turning their backs like they've been doing, he would get that foul call every time. But
yeah.
They choose to just change the narrative and complain. Skyview says Zaza Pachulia is thinking, I was made the villain, and they're not even calling him now. I know that's true. But, he got a superstar up out of there, so he's always going to be the bad guy. He's always going to be the reason that this rule is being blatantly looked at and blatantly called now. It's not the first, time or the first person who's done it. Manu Ginobili used to do it a lot. I think he twisted Kobe Bryant's ankle one time running under him as he shot the ball.
Sure.
So, this has been a part of the game for a long time, but Houston, they beat the narrative like a dead horse. They even went as far as to leak an audit that they did personally on Game 7 of last year's Western Conference Finals, where they said they went back and studied the whole game, and they found 81 potential missed calls and non-calls that went against them in that game. Y'all are drawn. 81? Like, really? 81? But I'm pretty sure when they were doing this audit and they found 81 instances where there could have been a call or there was a non-call, I'm pretty sure they got to a point where they were just checking the box when somebody just brushed up against a player at any point in the game, because referees are human. We understand they're going to make mistakes. We understand that referees are bad sometimes. But 81 calls in one game, they're saying that 81 likely changed the eventual champion of the league. So basically, they're disrespecting Cleveland. Like, because if we'd have got there, we'd have smacked Cleveland. That's what they're saying. But they're saying that the non-calls and the missed calls took about 18.5 points away from them. And they only lost the game by 9. Nowhere in here do they say or do they count how many missed calls there were in their favor. Of course, we're not going to do that. Nowhere in here do they say at some point in a game, in a close game, we missed 27 straight three-pointers. And instead of adjusting and doing something else, we kept shooting the three-pointers even though we kept missing the three-pointers. So we're just going to conveniently blame this on the referees. We're going to take this narrative into next year's playoffs and try to use it like Phil Jackson and get the refs on our side. And after all of this complaining, because I got a new name for that game, that's the audit game now, like the flu game and all of that stuff. We got the audit game, Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. This whole thing I'm calling Referee Gate. But after all of this complaining, all of this talking about last year's Game 7, all of this talking about this year's Game 1, they went out in Game 2 in a game that, in my opinion, was beautifully officiated and went out there and lost again. So stop with the excuses. You can't beat this team. And you've been the closest to come to beating this team, but you shot yourself in the foot. 27 straight three-pointers? How about you count some points there that you may have missed if you would have just pump faked and went to the damn hole once or twice instead of blaming everything on the officials? Like, this got to stop, man. So they're going back to Houston with a chance to even up this series. A lot of people are looking at it right now as if it's done. What say you?
I'll give Houston one. I'll give them one win at this point because.
So you're basically saying because I don't see them. I don't see them getting swept as it being done.
Yeah.
But I don't see them coming back to beat this team. Not that this team hasn't blown a lead before, but just Houston's way of playing. I think when they first started this, they thought that they were emulating the Golden State Warriors, but the Golden State Warriors, I think a lot of people are fooled with what they think the Warriors do. The Warriors don't take nearly as many three-pointers a game. They just have the best three-point shooters on their team. So the fact that they take and hit crazy three-pointers, and I'm not talking about the amount, I'm just talking about the difficulty level of the stuff that Steph hits. People they've always assumed like, oh, a three-point shooting team won the NBA Finals. When they first started winning the Finals, defense to the Cavaliers.
Shout out to you and Tobias for always pointing that out. That The Golden State Warriors are a balanced scoring team. Yes, shooting from outside is a huge strength of theirs, and they have the two best outside shooters possibly in history, but they get to the rack. They hit mid-range. They have post-game threats. Like, it's a balance. All people see, it's almost like the dunk. You see a guy that dunks repeatedly and it's flash. The three-pointer is now the flash. So people have imitated the flash as opposed to holding on to the substance. People have grabbed onto the icing instead of baking the actual cake. It's bad, man. It's bad. And the Rockets have done it at a professional level.
Yeah, it's crazy. Golden State in the 2018-2019 season were 7th in the league at three-pointers attempted per game. To put some perspective in the number of it, the San Antonio, Pop's team, is last in the league. They take 24.8 three-pointers per game. Like, even 15 years ago, that was kind of unheard of, unless you had a specialist on your team who was maybe in your lineup, like one of your stars was a specialist. Golden State comes in at 7th. They shoot 34.2 per game. Houston shoots 45.2 three-pointers per game. In the game so one where they were complaining, they they missed 11 more three-pointers than Golden State even took in that game. Like, they play themselves, man. Like, they literally, we've always said the cliche, live by and die by. They literally live and die by the three. When Houston's not, that means Houston's hitting a bunch of three-pointers. When Houston's not, that means they're not hitting their three-pointers, and it means they're not adjusting to do something different because they're not hitting their three-pointers, because they're the most analytical team in the league. And analytics tell you, you keep shooting it, you'll eventually hit some, and since they're more than what the other team is getting on every bucket, you will eventually catch up. And they live and die by that analytical logic. And this is why, in my opinion, it's going to be very difficult for them to ever break through and win a championship, because they can just go cold like they have in big moments, and it just doesn't work out for them.
It's bad, man. It's sad because I know it's going to sound corny and old manish, but they literally have kids and developing players watching this and thinking that at some level it's
gym
okay.
I walk into, kids out there heaving threes, not even in their form to shoot from the three-point line. They're heaving. And, yeah, just missing. Don't matter. And even if you make a few, like, they can't do anything else, because as soon as they walk into the gym, everybody retreats to the three-point line to start heaving long shots.
It's terrible.
It is basketball.
It's terrible.
So you are tuned in to Old Guy Radio. If you want to talk to us about this, hit us up. Digital Extreme Technologies Hotline 323-410-0012. No, I'll take
and
that.
And it's not even it's not even that old guy, because honestly, come on, remember what it was. We were I ain't gonna say word because I still in. We are 2 3-point shooters. I shoot threes, but damn, you can't. That's not all you do on a basketball court. Like, come on, man.
Come on, man. So yeah, I think, I'm with you. I think Houston, I'm not going to disrespect them like they're not going to get a game. I don't know. We might be surprised by the time they leave Houston. They leave there with 2 wins and bring it back to Golden State tied up. I know for a fact in my heart, not for a fact, but my stern opinion is they're going to win at least one of the next 2 games coming up. I think it's definitely going to take them holding the fort at home and winning both of those games for them to even have a shot. If they go back to Golden State down 3-1, then this series will probably pretty much be a wrap.
I saw on another sports show that imitates us that is inferior. One of the points they made was, well, Clint Capella and P.J. Tucker combined for 6 points and 4 rebounds as starters, and that was terrible, right? That's absolutely that's incorrigible. You deserve no love. You're corny for being a professional player in a playoff setting, and that's all you can do. But then the point was also made that you can even blame that on the way the Rockets play and take a whole bunch of stray balls, because the opposite side of that is Golden State ran 3 straight plays at the beginning of the game for guess who? Big Welvin. Getting Big Welvin involved and making Big Welvin feel and get him in rhythm, and he's a key. Big Welvin gives you 19 or 16 and 14 or 19 and 14,
which you should do for those guys. But
because your big 3 shooters, they can get their shot anytime they want. So you have to get other people engaged. How engaged are you when you know 1 or 2 guys are just going to come down the court and chuck 9 times out of 10? Then as a role player, I'm not hustling for that.
First of all, especially Clint Capella, but because P.J. Tucker, his only role offensively is to stand in the corner, wait for the ball, and shoot threes himself. So him not having a decent game, that could mean that he's just not shooting well. Clint Capella, if you say Clint Capella scored 6 points in a game, before you even go to the box score to see why Clint Capella only scored 6 a game, I implore you to go look at James Harden and Chris Paul's assist numbers. Because if their assist numbers are down, then Clint Capella is not going to eat, because all he does is catch lobs and putbacks. So if they're not dishing the ball in a playoff setting, I would think, sometimes those dudes, they think, look, our only chance to win is us. So we're going to shoot more. We're going to ISO more. And there's a lot of 3-pointers being taken. It's not a lot of driving and kicking. The only person I'm seeing going to the hole is Eric Gordon, and he's their best 3-point shooter. Not saying he's not launching too, but he goes to the rack every once in a while.
Eric Gordon can't even dribble. And he's going to the rack.
Why, though? You know why he's going to the rack every once in a while? Because he's their best 3-point shooter. He knows they're expecting him to do that, so he switches it up. He adjusts. Harden just doesn't switch it up. Harden, of course, he's going to take you to the hole every once in a while, but that's just because the last 5 times down the court, he hits you with tween, step back 3. So at least one time out of the next 6 tween sessions, he's going to give you a head fake, like he's looking up at the basket.
He's going to tween, heavy spin, drive. Shut up.
There's not a lot of lays in that. It usually ends with a step back 3 or a step to the side 3. So yeah, they have to adjust, and they seem like they refuse to do that. And it cost them, in my opinion, in Game 7 last year, no matter what you want to say about the referees. And it's costing them so far now, because they're not getting blown out by this team. So it's like you make an adjustment a few times during a game, and you probably can beat this team. But they refuse, man. But yeah, like I said, but with P.J. Tucker, though, they could be kicking out to him, and he could be missing. But if Clint Capella doesn't have double figures, that's on them most of the time. Clint Capella isn't getting the ball, with his back to the basket and turning and making a jump hook. He's not getting the ball facing up, shooting a J. He's not getting the ball facing up and driving to the hole. He is getting spoon-fed when he has, great games on the offensive end. So that's definitely on them when Clint Capella can't get his man. So speaking of whether or not the series is over or not, there's been a lot of pundits, a lot of talking heads, in this round, that were pom-poms. People who don't know what that means, that's prisoner of the moment, twice. Just quick to count a team out after a Game 1 loss. Here's an example for you. The Celtics blow out the Bucks in Game 1. I think they beat them by like 22 points, something like that. Paul Pierce, I mean, we know what he has invested in it, but Paul Pierce goes on TV and tells people that it's over. Never mind the Bucks won 60 game, had the best record in the NBA, top seed in the East, home court advantage. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, yeah.
Never
Paul
mind
Pierce
that.
went on saying it's over, and a lot of people were panicking, saying, "Oh, the Bucks might be in trouble." Now, I picked the Celtics to win this series in 7, but I'm not, I don't care to be right. I don't think, I didn't beat my chest like that's going to happen, because you have to respect the Bucks. So after Paul Pierce went out and said, "Oh, this is over. I don't know what the Bucks can do," as if playoffs aren't all about adjustments in the first place, the Bucks come out in Game 2 and slay the Celtics. I mean, they beat the good dust off of these dudes, and just 48 hours ago, pundits were saying it's over. 76ers lost.
They beat poop down.
76ers lost to the Raptors in Game 1. And unlike the Bucks series, they lost on the road. This is kind of where Toronto, who's a higher seed than the Sixers, are kind of supposed to win games. A lot of people, Stephen A. Smith came out the next day saying, "Man, I'm afraid the Sixers might get swept." His partner, Max Kellerman, was right on that same train. Everybody else, Broussard, every little talking head clip that I get sent every day, the Sixers are in trouble. I don't know what they can do. Sixers come back. Game 2, they leave Toronto in 48 hours with the home court advantage after the series was basically over. My question, it's rhetorical, because this kind of stuff is a big reason we started War Room Sports in the first place, because we felt we weren't getting enough from our highly paid talking heads on our used-to-be favorite sports networks. You know what I'm saying? We felt that people were prisoners of the moment. We felt that everybody was a shock jock. Everybody was only in the hot takes. Analysis has started to get lazy because entertainment paid more than analysis and actual sports knowledge. All reasons that went into us creating this, 9.5 years ago as is. But we've gotten to a point now, in 2019, where it's just absolutely ridiculous, man. My question is, why is it so easy for these guys to come back from these hot takes the next day when they're quickly proven wrong? Why does nobody hold people accountable for this kind of analysis? Is it because people are that entertained? Because all you see on TV these days, hot takes and dudes screaming at each other. And shout out to Jimmy in the chat the other day. Hot takes and people screaming at each other. People love it.
It's not that people. How can you hold someone accountable for something being wrong if you have accepted that as not wrong? Or even worse, for our younger listeners and younger audience, they don't know that it's wrong. They didn't grow up. They don't have anything to even compare it to. The folks in the generation behind us, and our generation at least, where we should be the ones holding media accountable for the bull jive put out there, hot takes and screaming. We are those ones. And then the younger generation, think about it, they don't know a world where hot takes and screaming isn't the norm. Right. Deep analysis is something that Peter King. That's Peter King. Ain't no young people listening to Peter King.
Right.
We want to hear from Screaming A, and a show that I admittedly watch from time to time, Undisputed. Uncle Shannon hop on LeBron's nards and Skip say the most ridiculous things. It's entertaining. It's entertaining, and that's what drives media today. So we are a rarity and an exception.
Yo, shout out to Shannon, because no matter what that, and I can't sit down and watch these shows, but people, do send me the clips every day. So, if I'm sitting around bored, I'm going to watch 6-minute clips. And no matter what they send me from Skip and Shannon's show, no matter what the topic is, they could be talking about saving the seals from the great white. whatever, saving baby penguins or something. Shannon Sharpe will always set aside a few seconds or a few minutes in that conversation to gargle LeBron's balls. Like, I don't get it. I'm like, yo, I thought we were talking about baby penguins. I know we were talking about baby penguins. It's more like,
Let me say the good, man. And the good is, we remember when Shannon Sharpe couldn't even speak English, and so I'm proud of that.
Now he's using his English for annoying evil.
and who knew that he was also had some black nationalist leanings, and was as active in social issues as he is. Yo, all the respect and love in the world. But yo, I could never be a professional athlete, let alone a Hall of Famer, one of under 1,000 people globally out of billions, and give that much attention to another athlete's nether region. I couldn't do it. There's no way. If I'm in the Hall of Fame and I'm older than you and you're still playing, you my young boy. I don't care how good you are. You my young boy. Shannon.
Every clip he sets aside time, man. Every clip. They could be saying, yo, how come John Elway, you know, as an executive, how come he hasn't been able to get the Broncos a good quarterback since you guys were winning championships? And Shannon will be like,
the royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Like, yo, what does that have to do with
Joe, he didn't call LeBron. Even worse, it's even worse than that. Shannon will say something like, yo, Shannon will say,
he's a bather, man.
Yo, shout out to Coming to America, one of the greatest pieces of cinematic art ever. Yo, Shannon will say something like, yeah, me and LeBron, he patted me on the head while we were out suit shopping. Yep, I know you're jealous.
And you know he does say we. He says we to LeBron like we say we to the Eagles or the Sixers or something like that.
We say
we coming out to LA.
No, he says it like you and I say to our sons. Like he's the son and LeBron is the pop. Yo, Shannon, come on, man.
We going to McDonald's, Daddy? But anyway, like I said, like analysis has become this lazy that game after game, people are making these finite proclamations about teams, about players. Like, it's crazy. And I mean, these are professionals. They know. A lot of these dudes have played the game. They know, especially in the NBA playoffs, that most of the games, you know, games are basically their own entity. And we've used adjustments. We've used that term in an NBA series to the point of making it damn near cliche. We know it's a game of adjustments. You know, any good coach in the NBA series is not going to come back out and do the exact same thing that he did, unless your name is D'Antoni, in a game that you lost, especially a game where you were dominated and or embarrassed. You are not going to come out and do the exact same thing. So after one game in a series, you know, you want to not give a team any chance. That's weird to me. And it's like everybody who said that this past week looked like look stupid in 2 days. But like I said, there's no accountability for that. There's nobody holding anybody accountable. I ain't hear a bunch of people like, all right, where's all personnel?
Snapchat culture.
Yeah. I mean, literally, the Sixers were done. And then 48 hours later, they fly out of Toronto with the home court advantage. I'm not saying they're going to keep it, and I'm not saying that they're going to win. But it wasn't over. Ben Simmons, I think you got to give more respect than that.
Ben had a bad game, and he's a bust. Ben had a 31-point game. He's the greatest. Yeah. I'm like, yo.
Exactly. How? That's how it goes. Ben, he trash. The Sixers going to lose to the Nets. Ben had 9 points. All right, hold my beer, or hold my Jenner, hold my Kardashian. Right back. Come out there, give him 31, almost a trip dub. And it's we just living in a time of we need to
time,
man. Now. We need to get a hot take because God forbid your hot take is right one day. You're gonna gloat about that, about being a genius for the next off season. But as much as these same talking heads said that the Eastern Conference playoffs especially shook out just the way they wanted it to, they thought it was going to be a battle all year between these four teams. For people to come out after game one of both of the series and proclaim it to be over is I can't fathom it. I'm like, this is what y'all wanted. This is the team all damn near evenly matched, and we just panic. We see one thing and we just panic. All right, so we'll see how that goes. Sixers and Raptors will be back at it, Game 3 in Philly right after our program. Hopefully the Sixers can do more there. Let's go to the phone lines. We got a caller calling in. We got Rob calling in from Cali. Rob, got a few minutes left, homie.
Rob, congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations on what?
On your Lakers, man, and the ownership moves they're making. Headed in the right direction.
Real talk though, Rob. Have you heard, what is Linda Rambis's role with the organization? Why do you have it? What have you heard?
What have I heard? It's just a lot of confusion, man. I mean, some people, like I'm hearing right now about their split on Tyronn Lue versus Monty Williams.
But is she a part of that decision making, Linda Rambis?
Oh, it's
like Kurt Rambis' wife. If you don't know who we're talking about, like, why is she a part of the organization? And what is her role?
I thought it was Kurt. Oh, I thought it was Kurt. You know, it was a Rambis. I didn't know it was Linda. I thought it was Kurt. Oh, you know more than me.
Both of them are part of it. They're calling Linda right. And GMs are saying Linda Rambis is like a shadow owner. I don't even know what that means. But it sounds like she's getting a lot of power.
No.
And we don't know why.
All
right, don't let us derail you.
She's not owner. She's not owner. She's not like, come on, the Steinbrenners own the Yankees. The Busses own the Lakers. You know, like Magic Johnson, he God bless him, but he wanted to be a Bus, but you know what, bro? It's you can have the massive thumb.
Just say it.
Yeah.
You wanted to be a Bus, but you black. Come on, man. You don't look like that. All right, so what you want to talk about real quick, man, because we're about to get out of here.
Okay, real quick. I love what you're saying, man. People are prisoners of the moment. You know, even with the playoffs, I keep seeing these memes at the one game. They're talking about how bad Kyle Lowry was at the one game. I'm just like, dumb, why y'all keep doing this? But This is the times we living in, and for the regular people who actually watch basketball, calm down, and for the, you know, for people like social media, just watch the fools act the fools, man. Now
that's the thing, though, Rob. The thing is, you're exactly right about like the memes and social media, but when that leaks over to the programming that people are watching to get their sports knowledge, you know, God bless the people that are doing that, but you know, when you're watching a professional sports analyst say the same thing that dudes on memes are saying that can't even spell, then you're in a bad place because everything has turned into entertainment rather than analysis. And now, of course, you can have a little modicum of entertainment. Like I hope people find us funny when we do what we do, but
I've been on this years ago. That's why I listen to y'all. That's why I listen to all the podcasters. That's why you know, War Room Sports got different podcasters. You know, hopefully they bring back, you know, the Broad Street Lines. Hopefully Hoop Girls or some other females will jump up on that.
The network is coming back up, so you will hear those shows soon.
Yeah. So. Yeah, like that. People gotta look at alternative media, even with news media. people sensationalize. That's one thing about thing I like the internet. You know, you can look for the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like to some extent, like. You know, people going crazy over. They were doing a coup over in Venezuela. The government's going crazy. I was talking to a sister in Venezuela. No, I don't like my president, but, you know, we don't want no coup to happen. It ain't like, you know, people are broke, but it ain't like the government starving us out. You know, the U.S. got sanctions. How about you lift those? You know what I'm saying? So it's people got to look out and seek out the truth. Like, you know, like the Bible says, you know, you got to divide the word of truth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, okay, real quick, because I know you guys got to go. You got to go off the air. The Eagles draft, I'm glad they got offensive tackle. Now the second pick, I was surprised they got a running back. I was surprised they got Sanders, and it was good. I mean, it was good. They got Philly kid. You know, the last Philly kid we got, you know, and Beyonce come in and break that down. But yeah, as far as the playoffs is concerned, I really like the way Kawhi Leonard's playing with an intensity, and you know he's playing with he's playing with like a Mamba mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like a Mamba mentality. And I try to tell people, like, listen, yo, Kobe really he is like the Yoda, you know what I'm saying? He'll help you reach your full potential. The way he did Kawhi Leonard, the same way he did Gaines and other guys, you know what I'm saying? You know, Kobe wants to play with ballers. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. If you want to be a baller, if you want to be a great and legend, that's what you do. You know, so you get a legend. You also play for a legendary coach, but you know, you get that tutelage, you get that tenure, and that's what I like about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is just balling out of control. Joe Embiid, people should get mad that he takes 3-pointers because he does have bad knees, so he's trying to stand legal on time. He can't bang it up like the regular big dude. But if he was healthy, there's no telling. He might be a little. I might put him at the same time as Shaq. I don't know if he has the. But, you know, he's maybe the same point as Shaq if he was fully healthy. Yeah, actually, yeah. He might come up there.
That knee, like, that knee in Harden's eye, you know, that could be like playoff changers, you know, because if Harden is going out here and he can barely see, which, you know, I think might have been exaggerated anyway, you know, they don't really have a shot.
I don't feel sorry for floppers. I don't feel sorry for floppers.
Turn back, like last game, he played the decoy role pretty well because when he's on the floor, whether, you know, that knee is going good or not, or if he got gastroenteritis or whatever he had before the last game, if he's not feeling that well, as long as he's on the floor, you have to respect his presence, and it makes the other people, you know, it loosens them up to play a little bit better. So I think, like, the Sixers have a chance with an Embiid that's 100%, but I don't think Houston stands an ounce of a chance without a Harden that's not 100%. But, Rob, we got to roll out, so we'll rap to you next week, man. All right, we'll see how these games go. All right, good brother. All right, yeah, so, you know, that's those are the two injuries that can do, you know, wonders for the playoffs in a good way or in a negative way. So those are the two things we got to keep our eyes on. And shout out to the Joker, man. That dude has game. Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. And the Nuggets in that game 7 with the Spurs, they showed me something. So that I'm really interested in that series with the Trail. And the last question we're going to ask before we get out of here, again, where the hell's Jason Tatum? Beige Mamba, we're calling on you. By the time we reconvene, you need to be back up in the house doing the things that everybody thinks that you can do. So thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room on Facebook, Twitter, War Room Sports, Game Time on the GroupMe app, and all the callers who called in to holler at us. Special thanks to Fred Perdue for joining us for a brief recap of the 2019 NFL Draft. Tune in next week, live right here on demand, as we catch you up on everything happening in the NBA playoffs. We'll also catch you up on everything happening around the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the start of next week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Same place. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook, Twitter, as well as our blogs, webcasts, and network podcasts on warroomsports.com. Also, make sure you pick up a copy of the Blueprints book at sportstobook.com or warroomsports.com. Until next time, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
Yo.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Yo. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Yeah. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like Magic and the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip-hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Portrait secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, PJ, Jock Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jock. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.